Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be soulmates and second chances. Well, today I got an email from a woman who got dumped by her boyfriend, who apparently has lots of personal problems, and it sounds like she's a little bit guilty of trying to fix this guy. And so she asked me my opinion if she thinks, or that if I think, there's ever a chance in the future that they'll get back together and maybe potentially fall back in love again. So I have a quote that I wrote on this topic, and then we're going to go through her email. And the quote says, "Every person that comes into your life is there for a reason. There are no accidents. Our relationships and interactions with other people serve a purpose. That purpose is to help each other grow, become more, and help us reach our full potential. However, not everyone is going to stay in your life forever. People who are meant to be in your life will make the effort to stick around. People who are just passing through often will be gone just as quickly as they came. Therefore, do not become attached to people, but instead simply focus on being grateful for your shared experiences, no matter how long or how short they may be. Sometimes it might be many months or even years before you are able to look back and understand the gift that they were, the wisdom they gave you, and the purpose and reason why they came into your life and why they did or did not stick around." So she says, "Hi Corey, I was wondering what you think of the possibility of falling in love with the same person twice." It's possible. Well, I mean, what I've found in my own life is like even the women that I'm no longer with and I don't talk to anymore, who at one time were the love of my life, I still love them. I still care about them. And if they picked up the phone, called me, and said they needed my help or needed an ear, I was like, of course I'd be there. Of course I'd listen to what they had to say. I mean, we at one time in our lives were really important to each other. And it's like I have great, wonderful memories. I have a lot of relationships I had through my life. And they all shaped me into the guy that I am today. Every one of them was a gift. She says, "I recently got dumped by my boyfriend of 1 year after he said that he depended on me too much to be happy. He needed some space. Now that's something that I can accept." Well, it sounds like shit's a little fucked up in his life and he needed to work and focus on himself. I mean, at the end of the day, if you've been following me for a while, I say this all the time. You got to be happy with yourself. You got to be enjoying your life being single before you can even consider getting into a relationship with somebody else. Because if your life is all jacked up, or your career is jacked up, or you're out of shape, and you're unhealthy, or you're just not happy, you got to take care of you first. It's like what Jim Rohn said. I'll take care of me for you, and you take care of you for me. And it sounds like he's doing that right now. He's taking care of himself. Because you can't give away what you don't have for yourself. And if you're not happy, you're going to have a really hard time trying to make somebody else happy. I also know that I have to move on from him, as I put a lot of myself to the side in order to make him happy and help him with his personal problems, which is the whole reason why we broke up. Well, it sounds like you were trying to fix him, and that's your first mistake. However, I believe in my whole heart that he and I are special. Every relationship is special, no matter how long or how short it is. They're all special. They all have a gift for you, and you have a gift for them. It's how you become who you're supposed to be, is by interacting with other people. That's why the banner on my website says life is relationships. It's not just talking about intimate relationships, because everything we do, even if in business or working for other people, we're doing services for other people. All of us, in some way, shape, or form, are living our lives in service to our fellow human beings. I have never experienced anything like our connection. The way we got together felt like it was being controlled by destiny. Well, of course it was. You were supposed to meet. Every person that you meet, you're supposed to meet them. They're there for you, and you're there for them. He was everything that I could have ever asked for in a person, and I didn't even know what I was looking for. We changed each other's lives, and we had a good run where we would take turns taking care of each other until something happened to him that ruined his ability to trust anyone but me. This is what led us to break up. He needed to place that trust in himself for the first time after depending on other people his whole life. Wayne Dyer's got a great quote that I love. He says, when you trust in yourself, you're trusting in the same wisdom that created you. It's really powerful when you really think about that at the soul level. You don't look at all the shit going on in your life, but you think about it from the soul's perspective. If the soul is eternal and lives one life after another, if you believe in that, or even one life, and it's all about the gift of the experience, it gives you a completely different perspective. When you think of things from the perspective of a soul just gaining life experience, things make a lot more sense, as opposed to just looking, oh my God, that person went splat. What a tragedy. I can't believe that happened. They were this, they were that. Everything happens for a reason. There was nothing really to do about the breakup, but I'm wondering if you have any thoughts about this. Can we ever fall in love again after we've gotten over each other completely and worked on our personal problems? It's totally possible, but the objective should not be to get back together. The objective should be to become the best version of yourself that you can be. And if at some point, because he's the one that pushed you away, he gets in touch with you and wants to get together and possibly rekindle things, it's possible if you're still single at that point. I mean, as I was reading this email and coming up with the quote when I was working on it, one of the things that struck me about this is the model Cindy Crawford and her husband, Randy Gerber, I think is his last name. He's in the restaurant business. Well, interestingly enough, they just celebrated their 17th wedding anniversary, and they got 2 kids together. And what's interesting is that she used to date this guy, Randy, who she's now been married to for 17 years, before she started dating and eventually got married to Richard Gere, the actor. This was back, I think, in the 90s. So for whatever reason, her and Randy dated, and then they broke up, and then she started dating Richard Gere and eventually married Richard Gere. And then after her marriage to Richard Gere ended, she got back in touch with Randy, her first boyfriend, and they've basically been together ever since then. And from everything I've read, guys follow her on Twitter, they seem to be pretty fucking happy. So I think that's awesome. I mean, 17 fucking years, and as far as Hollywood goes, that's a long that's like 3 lifetimes when you consider how people get married and divorced in Hollywood, or how often they do. So it's definitely possible, but again, it shouldn't be the objective. I would just let the guy go and say, hey, well, if you ever get your shit together, get in touch with me, and if I'm still single at that point, maybe we can go out again. I'm open to the idea of finding relationships that are better for me than this one has been. I believe that I can, but I don't see how they can beat this one in terms of personal chemistry. That is societal conditioning right there. It's the one. You're emotionally wrapped up in this guy, and so your ego is looking for reasons to justify staying hung up on him and waiting for him in hopes that he gets his shit resolved and he comes back to you. It's a bad way to go, because you won't be able to move on with your life. Because maybe you're meant to be with somebody else. And as far as the chemistry goes, what I found in my own life is that my relationships just get better and better with time. The quality of the people I date gets better with time. I mean, each one is a gift. Each one's a completely different experience. But it's like it allows you to stretch and grow parts of yourself that you need to. As I really believe that he and I are soulmates that got separated by personal problems. Again, this is just your ego wanting to hold on to this and not move on. But the reality is, you're open to potentially getting back together with this guy, and that's great. But at the end of the day, he unilaterally changed the terms of your relationship, so there's not a lot you can do about it. You've acknowledged that he's got a lot of shit he needs to work on. That may happen in 2 months. It may take 20 years. You don't really fucking know. It really doesn't matter at this point. Point being is that he decided he was no longer willing to participate in your relationship. It takes 2 people who want to be together, who want to work things out. And you wanted to stay together and obviously work things out, and I mean, you made a lot of sacrifices for this guy, and he still got rid of you. He still dumped you. That's not your problem. I mean, it takes 2. Right now, you were the only one that's willing to work things out in your relationship, and he's not. So It really doesn't matter. Keep moving, keep circulating, and you'll find somebody else eventually that has the same goals, that has the same values. It doesn't mean you're going to be with that next person for the rest of your life either. Who knows? You might date 2 or 3 people, or have 2 or 3 relationships over the next 15, 20 years, and then at some point you find your way back to each other. If you're supposed to be together, eventually you will run into each other, and it will just happen. That's the way the universe works. And the older you get, and the more you're able to look back in your life, the more you'll see the dots all lining up. The more you'll see the synchronicities in your life. Right now, when you're going through a difficult time, you're hurt, you're upset, it sucks, but what happened, happened, and it couldn't have happened any other way. And it won't be until you're able to look back in your life at this period of time that you're going through and see that everything lined up completely perfectly for your continuing journey that's unfolding every day. What you need to, because what you really want is you want a great relationship with great chemistry and something that's as good or better than what you had. I mean, think about it from this perspective. Wouldn't it be great to meet a guy for you who is just as awesome and you have just as much chemistry with as this ex-boyfriend of yours, but who doesn't have all this bullshit personal problems and baggage going on in his life? Maybe he comes from a really good family, so he doesn't have any of these kind of problems. Imagine what a relief that would be. Wouldn't it be nice if? Wouldn't it be nice if you met somebody just as awesome as he was, but without all the baggage, and he had his shit together? Just think how much easier being with a person like that would be. They're out there. But the only way that person is going to come into your life is if you're open to it. You're open to this other guy getting his shit together, but he may not. And therefore, you can't wait around for him. You want somebody to share your life with who's in the same place, who has the same goals and the same values. So you're open to that, whether it's him eventually getting his shit together or you meet somebody else who's even better. Either way, when you look at it from that perspective, you're going to win. It's a win-win situation. Therefore, you can't lose no matter what happens. You're going to get what you want. But the only way you're going to get what you want is if you stay open to it and you keep searching for it. Don't focus on him. Focus on what you want. Let him go deal with his shit. Maybe someday he'll call you. Maybe he won't. Flip a fucking coin. It can go either way. Again, focus on your outcome. Focus on what you want. Circulate. Take care of you. Stay in good shape. Take care of your body. Work at something that you love and you enjoy for a living. And keep moving towards the life you want. And keep being open to meet new people who share the same goals and values as you. And if you do that, it's not a matter of hope. It's just simply a matter of time before it happens. That's definitely something to think about. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone, Skype, or email coaching session. You can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking whichever option works best for you. And I will talk to you soon.